don't know that I'm really thinking. I think I'm mostly listening and being in the flow of what's going on. I remember playing a gig one time where it was like I was involved in this intense math matrix. Like, these are the notes that fit on this chord and they're going to resolve this way and I'm on this one so I can move it to that one. Like, I do remember being in a phase like that at one point. And I also, a friend of mine who was a good musician had said sometimes when you're working on something new, you have to just force it in. And the first time you do it, it's going to be unnatural when you force it in and it won't sound good when you do it, but then you do it and then it's like you gain some ownership over it, and then that initial step may lead to a point where then you start to do it more naturally, or it gets it flowing and it might just kind of come. But you have to inject it in maybe once as a beginner. And I had that experience of like, oh, I've transcribed this solo. I know this kind of line is sort of a cool sort of line. I know it'll fit over these chords. I'm playing a song where it's going to work. I'm going to try putting it in, and it's, it wasn't necessarily the most musical choice at the moment, maybe, but I did it, and that meant I had the experience of making it work in that moment while I was performing. But that was, a step. And I think maybe I sort of still do that, actually. Maybe even tonight, there were some things I've been thinking about recently that actually, now that I think about it, did sort of put into what I was improvising. But I think it's more natural for me now to be able to not have to like forcefully inject it. It was like something was happening that triggered it, and it fit more naturally. I think a fair amount of that knowledge has become very automatically connected to how I hear. So I'm mostly trying to follow I think just the logic in whatever is happening, where the next step where it should go. So like if a melody's in a certain place, where would that want to go to, or where would that want to go to if I'm soloing? And in terms of the particular notes, I think I just know what those chords are and what possible notes might work, or maybe there would be, like again, I'm talking about if I'm soloing, maybe there's some shape or motivic thing that I know I could stretch out some other way, and if it wants to go that way, if that's what happens to be going on, where then I'll still know what the chords are, If I'm comping, I'm probably really more responding to what everybody else is doing. Like maybe paying attention to the drums or the overall energy, or maybe really listening to this, like maybe interacting as a melodic line with another soloist that I'm accompanying. But if I'm soloing, I might be less consciously listening. I might be more feeling other things that are happening that somehow make their way into whatever it is I'm doing. But yeah, again, I'd be following the logic, trying to follow the logic within what I'm doing. And I think if some other part of my brain gets in there and goes for some other feels like maybe an external motivation, like I don't think that happened much this evening, so it felt pretty successful to me. But sometimes other things might come into play, like, I don't know, maybe I should try to do this, like some kind of intellectual idea, like, oh, this has been this for a while, would it be better if it was this, or maybe this has gotten boring, maybe I should do this. Something that's not actually motivated by the music itself, that usually means things are going to tank.
There's a certain feeling where it's just kind of freeing or something, and ideally when you're improvising, playing songs, it feels that kind of free, sort of, to just be able to play and not really think about, and just see the people that are around you, just enjoy that. I guess I don't think it's that much different, maybe, like the way that you play, what you express, the playing more free and playing the way I did tonight. Like, it's kind of similar, it's sort of a spirit. So like, tonight we played as free as I ever played, you know. I think a lot. Things to do with music, things to do with people that are around, and things to do with the audience. A lot. But also sometimes it can be a lot of thoughts, and also with no specific, like just flowing along with what's happening in a nice way, not obstructive. When you invited me to play one of these nights, and I thought it was just that we were going to be jamming, like last time, and I thought you were going to be playing, but you weren't even playing. But it was with Chris and Nick, and I brought my clarinet. I didn't expect that it was going to be a gig, because I only brought my clarinet. And thankfully, I'm grateful for the limitations that my new instrument, the clarinet, brings to me. So I have a different experience with it. So it gives me certain challenges. So I have to have an experience that I haven't had for a while on my alto, which is that I have to be kind of like constantly reminded of the limitations that it presents. And I feel like I can kind of almost ideally not be too hindered by that, like, and just find a way to that feels like a nice challenge, and that, like, I felt like mostly successful. Like, the clarinet is awkward, it's a hard instrument. Ideally I just use it for a few specific purposes, but playing standards and just being able to show up at a jazz gig and playing on the clarinet only that presented a lot of challenges for me. I had to think about what key it was going to be in. I couldn't transpose on the spot. I had to kind of, like, because normally on the alto I don't have to think about transposing I just know the standards. So in that case I was thrown off by the keys and everything. And it was fun to feel like that, actually.
I think the most important parts they share in common. Like playing free or playing tunes, you're playing music and you're playing with people, and you want to be part of the whole. You know, you could choose to have a role that's kind of, there could be a number of different roles you could play, like, so I guess I do. It's interesting because once we start thinking about free improvised music, I do think a little bit more about roles, like whether you're, you know, well, I guess in a band, sometimes maybe if you're comping, you're connecting with one part of the rhythm or one part of the energy, or maybe you're playing you're doing something melodic, or you're somewhere in the thing. But in free improvised music, sometimes that gets extended for me into more of like a narrative kind of role, I guess. Maybe it's because of the lack of other form.
Mm-hmm.
So then sometimes I think of myself more as a character, and that can just be a nice jumping off point. Like if I might have I know I've had this experience before where I have decided, okay, I am in a playground, maybe I'm like a snake, you know, or maybe I'm jumping or something, but someone else is over there and they're doing something, like they're a car driving or whatever, who knows what they are, or that's a bird or whatever it is that the other person's doing. And do I just kind of keep being who I am over on this side of the playground, or are they somehow calling me over, or am I fighting with them, or am I actually, you know, so there's sometimes it feels like a narrative situation in free improvised music, more than I would say happens when I'm playing on a tune. And then the other thing that sometimes I think in a free improvised situation I might be more inclined to do is also attach words to melodies that I'm playing in my head. Like like I'm telling a story or I'm in the middle of an argument or something. So maybe the way I make my melody is I actually have words in my head.
Wow.
But
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Like I remember Tristan Honsinger talking about acting, like being a bear or being a different animal.
Yeah.
During a performance, improvising, kind of theater performance. Like sometimes I'll think about like I'll get an idea to think about playing like bird. Like sometimes I thought about like playing in a way that's kind of rhythm, but like when would the next bird call or bird, like if you're just listening to birds, what's the kind of like logic in how to catch the rhythm of something that's just seems random. But I don't know. When I'm improvising completely, I feel like usually there's a dependence on some kind of compositional idea. Like there's always there's a threat almost right from the beginning that you're gonna make something that doesn't hold up. You know, like if you're freely improvising, it's way easier to play standards.
When I heard these friends of mine play Cheek to Cheek, I fucking loved it so much because I heard them talking about up front how they didn't really know that tune. Like, or that's not quite right, but there was definitely some chatter around playing that tune. Oh, there's the different sections. Oh, then the bridge goes. Oh, then there's this other thing, the minor and the. Fuck, let's just play it. Okay, and then they played it, and it was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like it was fucking amazing, and like the way the melody was happening and the way the freedom of the like. I know this tune, but I'm just gonna play it like this. That's jazz.